Well, good morning, guys. Another fine day in the woods. It appears as though summer has returned in full force. It's a balmy 22 degrees Celsius. It's comfortable in American. We're working on the inside of the ball today, which is I'm pretty excited about because we've been working on the outside for a really long time. We get to go inside and we get to start the finish of the ball, which is really cool. I think it's really neat in there. So let's get started. In order to work on this thing, I'm gonna lower it because it's always easier to work on something when it's at ground level. You don't have to climb so much. What you got there?
Hopefully some water.
Hopefully, does it work? Did you try it? You should test it. You gotta pull the pin. There you go. That's our safety eventually. We are going to be grinding. That's our first order of business, is to get rid of the pokey bits that are protruding out of the ball. You see the door, we had self-tappers that are coming through the metal. The idea is to get rid of all of those. And then the inside, there's a whole pile of them as well that we're going to get rid of. And yeah, it's going to be a fun job just on itself. Anything to do with round is extra hard. And that's probably why I'm drawn to it so much. So anyway, safety first. We've got Don manning the fire extinguisher. So if you see flames, just
I'm covering it.
all right, good.
Okay.
Holy moly, look at that mark on my nose. I'm not breathing any of it, but it's going in my eyes, which is the smoke, because I guess I'm touching. You can see actually the miasma is kind of wafting out of the ball. The air quality in there is not great. It's the smoke. It's not the dust or anything. I'm filtering that out, but my eyes are sucking it in, and it's like sitting by a campfire. Like, yeah, I'm gonna grab a fan. Got the fan and the EcoFlow and blow some fresh air in there, some oxygen in there. I don't see any fire yet. That's good news, because that wouldn't be cool. In order to use the spoke for the floor, I first had to prep it. By prepping it, I mean I had to take the center ring off, because that would have sat proud on my finished floor, because afterwards I'd have my plywood on. So what I did was I worked with my angle grinder and I ground off all the welds in order to pop off the steel ring that was there protecting, I guess, I don't know, the welds or something like that. And then once I was done, I actually cut off all of the spokes except two, which I could have reused because I'd be able to slide it through the door. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get the entire spoke through the door. And then once I was done that, I was able to use it as the first piece of my floor. All right, now that we got the center spoke cut to size, we're going to weld it in place for my floor. I got Don, he's gonna make some more spokes for the wheel, and I'm going to weld them in as I go. Hopefully this works. I've got the welder hooked up to my battery pack. Don, you're shooting sparks at the camera. You're shooting sparks at the camera. In order to make our flooring, we ended up using one of the spokes that were in the center of the wire spools. We saved them, and what we did was we actually cut off the spokes that were going to get in the way, and then we left two of them on there. We put it inside the sphere just to kind of measure, rough measurement, and then we marked it out. And then what we did was actually use that as a template for the further spokes, and then we took our welder, plugged it into the EcoFlow Delta Pro, and we ended up welding all the spokes back on to create a nice looking floor. And then afterwards, we're going to end up putting a piece of plywood on that, and will give us a nice solid floor. In order to build my floor in my sphere, I ended up taking a 4x8 sheet of plywood, 5/8, good, no sides, because they don't sell good plywood anymore. And I found the diameter, I divided that by 2 to find my radius, and then I put a screw in the middle of the plywood, and I used my tape measure as kind of a guide. I hooked it on the screw, and then I drew myself my circle. But since my plywood wasn't wide enough, I ended up using the offcut to add to that piece of plywood and then carry on with my circumference of my circle to trace it out in order to give myself a perfect circle to function as my floor for the sphere. All right, we got all the screws cut off. I just got Dawn in there with the central vacuum cleaner, and we're sucking up all of the metal filings and the debris and all the chunks of screws that we cut off because we don't want those in our mix. The idea now is to actually, we're gonna fiberglass it. I'm gonna attempt to fiberglass it. I've never done fiberglass resin before, but I wanna try it. And this is a pretty good project to try it on, so we're gonna try to stiffen up our wood that way. Our subfloor is done, and it's extremely comfortable. Although it wasn't fun installing it, we had to key it into all of the corners in order to fit tightly against the exterior wall, as you guys can see. It's good to finally have something sort of flat to stand on. We've been kind of tiptoeing around on the joists for a while now. Now we got something that we can stand on. Maybe we can move on to the next part. Oh, your liner's shot up. Don't breathe out, and bam! Got him! Well guys, you can't always go. Sometimes the weather tells you to just take it a little slow. So I'm sitting around, I'm playing my new favorite game, Hunting Clash. It is awesome on your mobile phone. It allows you to, you know, hunt when you're not actually hunting. Line her up. I should line her up with this finger. Line her up. Bam! Fire! It tells you your accuracy based on where you've hit. That was 100% hit. I got 154 points. Even if you're not an avid hunter, you get to try one of the oldest traditions in humanity, which is hunting. And travel across the world, exploring different locations, hunting dozens and dozens of different animals. Take part in weekly competition and events to upgrade your shooting skills. And right now they got a really cool Halloween atmosphere, so you can test yourself as a ghost hunter. You can try a unique bones collector rifle, so you can catch all the ghosts. Hunting Clash has one of the most realistic gameplay of any mobile game I've ever seen. And what's great about it is you get to feel the spirit of nature without even leaving your house. Download the game using the link in the description or scan the QR code you see on the screen. Once you've done that, you can use my special gift code to get yourself a welcome bonus pack. With these lures, you'll be able to improve your hunting skills and hunt bigger animals. Collect all the lures available in the game to become the best hunter. Can't wait to get to my next level when I get to get a different rifle. Oh, got him again. Oh, 99%. Oh, 99%. I think I rushed that when I pulled it on the trigger too quickly. All right, it's fiberglass resin time. Dawn is going to mix it. We're going to do it real time. And we're going to mix a quarter of that can. We got some resin from Princess Auto. And so we mix that up. And we put the hardener in. And then we have a very limited amount of time to work it. Yep. Is that a quarter of that? That's about a quarter. The next day, I figured I'd give you guys an update on the resin fiasco. Yesterday, Dawn and I mixed up a number of... Well, hi, Frankie and Bean. What are you guys in here for? You guys just saying hello? That's cool, eh? Whoa. Hey, calm down over there. This isn't going as easily as I thought it was going to do. I don't know what I expected, but I don't know. We're giving it the old college try. The fiberglass mesh doesn't seem to want to adhere to it, so what I've done is instead I've used screen, old polyester screen, and I think that's going to marry itself to the polyester resin. So I'm just doing my test strip now just to see if it's going to work. So we mixed up some resin, we applied it to the wall, and it turned into like a fibery mess of acrylic and fiberglass, and it's not quite laid flat, and it cost a lot of money, and it stunk real bad, and well, there's lots of drawbacks, and probably I'm not very good at doing it. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I am going to mix up a non-resin based material. It's going to be composed of cedar sawdust, glue, some water, some acrylic bonder, like a latex primer, and what the goal is today is to fill up all of the cracks that are in all of the spaces in the wood, because I want to put waterproofing on it, but if I put waterproofing on it with cracks in it, it's going to flow through the cracks. So I have to first fill up all my cracks in order to give myself a nice solid surface. So that's going to be my attempt. And I got Frankie's down here, Frankie and Bean. They're going to assist me in any way they can. You guys like it in here, eh? What do you think? Yeah! Hi, Greggy. Now I just got to fill a couple of cracks in here to make sure I can't see light. Don't quite got my waterproofing done. So that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of the day. This is somewhat untested, so I will test it out for you. It is a mix of cedar sawdust and a lot of binders, which is glue, and then some latex primer, which is floor primer, which is I'm using it as an acrylic, some concrete glue, some Gorilla Glue. There's lots of glue in there, and yeah, bushcraft wood filler. I almost got like a half a 5-gallon pail. It should be enough. Hopefully it hardens. Ideally, it fills the crack. I think I'm going to spray foam it. Spray foam doesn't go through, because if you've ever sprayed spray foam, even the tiniest little crack, the spray foam goes in it and then goes right through it. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, Bean? Bean's like, well, I can help. I can help. You want some? No, you don't want any. All right, I'll check back with you when I'm done this.
I'm pulling off the fiberglass.
Burning the midnight oil. Figured I gotta get a coat on it today in order to allow it to dry. I ended up getting all the fiberglass and the I guess that's the fiberglass and the resin off this panel here, and I've got it filled, and I've got all the other sides filled. I ended up getting more resin, and I actually embedded drywall tape into the ceiling, and now I'm going to coat it with a waterproofer in order to keep the rain out. And you know, it's going to be pretty much filled with hopes and prayers. Hopefully it keeps it watertight. EcoFlow Delta Pro running my little space heater, so because it is kind of cold outside, and it's actually rather toasty in here. So I'm gonna start painting with my goo. See my goo, and that's going to waterproof it. The acoustics right here are something else. That is really weird. It's like I'm talking behind myself. Whoa. Or maybe the paint fumes are getting to me. Wow, that's weird. Whoa. Well, that's a good sign. I think it's holding water right in the door. That's only one coat. Fast forward to 2 days later, and many coats of paint. I think I'm in it for about 15 hours. I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour, because I gotta put the other coat on. As you guys can see, well, maybe you can't see, it's dark in here. I've taken the tarp off of the sphere, and what I'm trying to look for now is light coming in through the sphere. So what I've done is I've created a giant latex water balloon on the inside, but no water in it. A giant balloon on the inside to kind of seal out the outside, to give it kind of encapsulated the entire inside of the sphere. It looks like I'm a disembodied head. Because it's sunny out right now, I'm gonna see if there's any light protruding through, and then that'll be some areas of concern that I want to really hit well with the fourth coat, and seal it all up. It looks promising so far. I don't really see any light coming out, but I'm just gonna close up the door and kind of give it a really good look over while in the dark. You guys can't see that, but I can give you a little bit of a show on the outside. There's a little bit of patching left to do. You can see how it's come through. So that means I've pretty much got it right to the edge. You can see some of the wood filler here, which was the patch. That was the idea behind that wood filler, was to prevent the actual waterproofing from coming through. But it did its job pretty darn well. If you look around the outside of the sphere, you can't really see any of the black goo. So that means my wood filling actually worked really well. One more coat, and yeah, we're ready for spray foam. All right, guys, big day. Big day. The spray foamers are here. I called a favor to a friend. I've been working with this guy for a long time over at Futures Insulation, and they're my spray foamer guys. So they come, they've agreed to spray foam my ball. I'm sure the spray foamer, this will be the most interesting job he's ever sprayed. So the idea is to probably spray about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches onto the surface of the wood, and maintain sort of the steel, because I want that as an architectural feature. So if we want to just do a little bit of tour before he starts, I'm gonna get him to do the floor first, and then I'm gonna put the floor in for him, and then he can spray the rest of the ball. I'm not sure how much footage I'll actually get of it happening. You kind of want to stay clear of spray foam for at least 24 hours after it's sprayed, but otherwise it's inert afterwards, after it's done and it's cured. I highly recommend it for renovation or whatever you're going to be doing. It's the best way to tighten up a space. As I've always said, actually air sealing is a lot more important than R value, but they kind of work hand in hand. If you can't get R value, go for air sealing, and that's what we're going for in this situation, and also to tighten it up. Spray foam is very strong stuff. If you want to, you could build something out of cardboard and spray foam, and it would be really, really tough. Anyways, we're gonna let him do his thing. I'm going to stay clear. That's his thing. Let him do it. All right, first look. After the spray foam has been applied, I've let this thing off gas for at least 24 hours. And we had a heck of a rain last night and wind and all sorts of crazy weather, and it is bone dry in here. That's the most exciting thing yet. That's pretty cool. So what we got to do now is we have to free up our steel supports. Whenever you're spraying spray foam, it's really hard to kind of keep it contained, but it's relatively easy to peel off afterwards. There is a product called Spray Release, which you can spray on stuff. I believe it's relatively expensive, so you don't really want to do it, but what you can do is just mechanically strip all of the beams. So that's the plan now. And I'm gonna get scraping this stuff off, or actually Don probably is going to do that. No big deal, pretty cool. And yeah, we can get started finishing the inside of this thing. I'm excited about this thing. It's amazing what happens once you kind of, you know, throw dozens and dozens of hours at something. Whew. Certainly looks cool. We're gonna stucco the inside. That's a new thing I'm gonna try, because I've never tried the like applying real stucco. It's an acrylic stucco. It's not like a parging or like a cementatious stucco. It's from a company called the Drive It, which I'm gonna try it. I don't think it's recommended for this sort of thing, but man, what are you gonna do, right? I think it'll work and it'll be awesome.
All right, just a little update. That's working amazingly well, other than the fact I'm getting foam in my eyes. So I've stolen my daughter's, what are they called? Swimming mask, and it's got some protection all the way around the edge, so I don't get little pieces of foam in my eye. And I'm gonna keep grinding. It's working really, 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 really well. It's got a 36 grit on the grinding wheel, and it's taking it off like nobody's business. So just get her done and move on.
Let's check a look at this thing here. This is the mini cubic wood stove. It's the cub version of it, and it's got the brass highlights on. It's got the brass legs with the brass door, little viewing window. It's a really neat solution to heating small spaces. It's great for you know, like a cabin or an RV, or even like a boat if you want to do it. It's got like little dampers on the sides and in the fronts. I've used these in a couple of my cabins already. I highly recommend them. There'll be a link down in the description if you want to check out your very own mini cubic wood stove. Don's just in the process of actually firing up the stove, because what he's going to do with it is season it. We're going to season it outdoors, because anytime you get a new stove, that paint always kind of cures and it off-gases a little bit. We light it up outside and just kind of let it burn for a couple of hours. Light it up periodically and get a good roaring fire going, and it cures everything. That's the plan for Don, and then he's going to feed me stucco and stuff. We're going to do like a test patch just to ensure that it's going to stick properly on the inside of the ball. Sound like a plan, Don?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, sounds like a plan. So Don, you're gonna light that thing up. You're just adding a stove pipe, just get ourselves a nice draft off that.
Nice draft off of it.
Yeah.
And, there we go.
Yeah, so this is the you know, custom double wall stainless steel pipe. You don't see that very often, but that's a mini cubic, I think, original. I think they designed that pipe specifically for their stove. There we go. I'll shut the door. You can see how quickly that thing lights. It's got quite the proper draft on. You can see the condensation forming because she's curing, and that's how easy it is to light. It's really well designed for the airflow. And there's your damper. The damper on, off, off, on, off, on. We ended up shaving the ball down yesterday. We got all the foam smooth enough to apply our stucco, and yeah, That's our plan. This is 6-inch wide fiberglass mesh. They normally would use this for, I believe, taping drywall. It actually was cheaper than regular rolls of mesh tape, and it's got like an adhesive back on it, so in theory it would stick. Then I'm going to use a product called Trimtex, and I'm going to spray on the thing to make it extra sticky. So as you guys can see, after I shaved the ball, it took off all of the high points and anything that was sticking out. Now I'm left with a relatively smooth surface. So my plan now is to actually mesh the surface of the inside of the ball and coat it with a stucco. And then I'm gonna give that a couple seconds to kind of tack up. That smell. That's a good smell. No, it's not. Do, 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 do. Now, normally when you're doing stucco, there's like a 3-part process, and it involves like doing the foam and then a mesh base coat with a cementatious product, and then actually before that, I think they do waterproofing, like it's a waterproofing membrane, and then a cement product for durable. So if you bonk it and bang it on the exterior stuff. We're not going to be doing any of that because we don't really need it. We're using it as an interior product. So this is not exactly how it's designed to be used, but I think it's going to work well. And the great thing about this product is we can paint it afterwards. So the only reason I'm being able to afford this sort of stuff is because it's mist tints. Battleship Gray. That works for me. The great thing about YouTube is that you get the advice after you're done doing it. I'm sure there's some stucco guys out there who are going to tell me exactly how to do this once I'm done. So this is an acrylic product. So it's not even, I think it's got maybe a little bit of concrete in it. I'm not even sure. It's paintable, it's sticky, it's awesome. Let's start with that much. Let's see, start at the bottom. Again, I've never done this before. This is my first attempt. I'm going to do one section here just to see how it's going to dry, how it's going to trowel on, and whether or not I have to do 2 coats or if I can get away with 1. Generally speaking, when you're doing stucco, you're not going to be doing 2 coats. You're only going to be doing 1, and it's like the finish coat. All right, 1 square prepped. I'm gonna let that dry up a little bit, then I can hit it again and see if I can smooth it out. What I'm finding is that the divots are where the ball wasn't completely round. I'm having trouble getting the trowel in, so I switched to the pool trowel, which by design is designed to go sort of angular. The square rectangle trowel isn't working as well. But I may go to a different technique. By a different technique, I might use some different material to fill the giant divots, kind of like a pre-fill before I do the stucco, because otherwise I don't think I'm gonna have enough stucco, because I used quite a bit for that one little chunk there. But not every little section's got as big a divots as that one. I probably should have picked a nicer one to try. It's cold today, it's rainy. I'm in the shop. I've got a little project to do. I've got my Cabela's Bass Pro Shops Carhartt on. I hear they're somewhat fire retardant. I'm gonna do some welding today. My plan is to take one of the last eyeball windows I have and make it into a opening light for the sphere, or window for the sphere. It's gonna kind of open like this. It's gonna be mounted to the side, but first I've got to fabricate something out of steel that's round. I'm getting really good at making things that are round and metal. But yeah, this is the last one I got. As you can see, it's not the nicest. I think it's just got to be cleaned, but it's these are glass from a high bay light in a commercial. So it would sit like this on top of or underneath a high bay light. I picked them up from the scrapyard when I saw them dismantling them, and they were just gonna chuck them into the scrap bin. So I got them quite a few years ago, and I've had a pile of them. This is my last one. It's kind of sad. On a side note, I'm really liking these new welding gloves. I got them from Power Weld. they're nice and thin, so you got like more dexterity in your fingers. Seems like my right hand's larger than my left hand though, but anyways. These are pretty cool. Actually, I had to call up Power Weld the other day because I had some issues with my helmet, and they were, you know, surprising is they answered the phone, which is cool, and they sent me the parts off for my helmet, lickety split. Moving on. This is the steel I have. You guys can't even see it. I can't. Oh, I left it. It's the back end of an old oil tank, and I've had it laying around for a while. So my plan is to cut a circle with this guy. I don't think I have a bench big enough to hold it. Maybe a garbage can. Yeah, put it on a garbage can, cut out my circle, and then not break my glass while I'm measuring it, and start from there. I'll get this steel down to a manageable size. It's probably too thick, and it's probably too rusty, and it's probably too old. But I'm gonna make it work. All right, guys, a little bit of a fast forward. I give you a little bit of an update on this. So I attempted this one panel with just plain acrylic stucco, and I didn't quite like the way it was setting up. I couldn't really flatten it out, possibly because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I went on YouTube and I checked out plastering, and I found a very helpful channel over at Kirk Giordano's plastering. He's got 800 videos on how to plaster. Like that's an insane amount of videos on how to plaster, and well, I went down that little rabbit hole, and I think I have enough information to be dangerous. That's how it goes when you kind of research just enough to suit your purpose. But his videos are rather entertaining. You should check them out. Anyhow, he's an old school plasterer, and he basically indicated that from what I understand is that there's a base coat, brown coat, and then the acrylic stucco goes on over top, and this is like a forever product. It turns out this stuff's worth like, you know, 50 years or something like that, and it's traditionally an exterior product. So I think once we get it actually on and trial it, I'm traditionally a drywall guy, so I'm used to dealing with mud, and then if it's not good, I just sand it and then carry on with another coat. So what I've done is actually I have taken what I have left over, which is polymer modified thin set, which is used to lay ceramic tile, and I've meshed the entire ball and then coated with polymer modified thin set, and I've gotten a pretty smooth surface, and I think it's pretty much impermeable now, and my plan is to knock off the high spots, and hopefully that gives me enough of a smooth surface in order to apply my stucco and then trowel it out. All right, here goes nothing. I ended up fashioning a sort of a plastic curvy mold float out of a chunk of plastic I had laying around, and I'm going to see if it's going to work. Just leave it, Kevin. I don't know if you guys can tell, this side here has not been flattened, and this side here has been flattened. You can tell the difference on camera. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm actually gonna let it set up a little bit longer, maybe I can hit it again. Rinse and repeat, 16 more times. I got two of 16, not bad.
How's it going, Don?
Going good.
Going good?
Well, relatively good.
Besides the hail?
Besides the hail or snow or sleet.
What? It's like raining, it's snowing, hailing, they got hail chunks coming down. Look at.
Film this one going in.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go in right, like lickety split. The ice might help it. Oh, it's gonna go, I think. I should have taken the line.
I should have taken the line.
Should have taken the line.
Once again.
Those chunks of hail aren't friendly. Those are the size of like, ow, they hit you in the ears. I'm going in the ball. You want to come in? It's foggy in here. It's a little warmer in here. It's a little humid. You can see this. Look at the hail. They're about marble size, stucco size. I don't know if we can go from outside to inside. Inside is quite warm and humid. You done? Quite warm and humid?
Yep.
And
It's smelly.
it's smelly? It's not that bad. It's that
You're used to it.
sweet smell of acrylic. I don't know if that's gonna stop anytime soon. We're gonna have to get the shovel.
like a weird Pac-Man now. It's kind of cool. Oh. I don't know. I don't think cutting metal with a jigsaw is a good idea, but my plasma cutter died. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's just, yeah. Anyways. Maybe Princess Auto is listening. I need a plasma cutter to cut my steel. I think real time on cutting that was 11 minutes, which isn't terrible. I just gotta do it a number of other times because I gotta make another ring. I gotta cut the inside of it out, but I'll spare you the pain on that one. Cutting the inside circle, everything was going pretty good, and well, this starts to happen. Watch. Let's see. Well, maybe it works now. Maybe. It turned into a vacuum cleaner. It's dead. It doesn't work. Hey guys, just reminding you to check out Hunting Clash, download the game with the link in the description below, and help support this channel. Thanks for watching. We got a ton of stuff done on this one. It's running a little long, so I figured I'm gonna button it up right about now, but I want you guys to join me on the next one. We're gonna do the entire inside all at once. That includes the bed, the window, the fireplaces, all the kind of creature comforts. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one.